Hi guys! Today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about my experience after college. So it's been a little bit over a year since I've graduated. I graduated in December 2015 from UW-Madison, and I remember when I graduated I was just a little bit in shock of the difference between college and the real world. And one of the first things I did was go to YouTube and type in, what do I do next? I feel like I had no plan. As much as I had thought about it, as soon as I got out, I realized how little I had actually really thought about it. And so today I wanted to give you 3 tips of what I wish I would have done when I graduated. So tip 1 would be to really consider what I wanted to do after graduation when I was in college. I know that sounds so basic and like something that I probably should have been doing all along, but I really didn't look at what actual real world job descriptions were. I knew kind of the field I wanted to work into, the industry, the area, but I didn't know exactly what the position I would be looking for did every day. And I know that there are some great job shadowing programs in a lot of colleges. I never took advantage of that if my college had one, which I'm sure they did, but that's definitely something I would look into while you're still in college, so you can tailor the classes that you're taking to fit the job description of what you'd actually be doing every day. So I know in my current position, I do a lot of things that I wasn't expecting that I would have to be doing in a position like mine. And so I think it would have been really helpful if I had kind of looked through a bunch of different job titles, job descriptions, and figured out what really interests me, and then took classes in college that had to do with that, or found an internship that had a job description that was really close to that to actually try it out. Because there are a couple things that I do that I just don't really enjoy and wish that I would have known that that was going to be a huge part of my job before I actually took it. My second tip would be to interview the company as much as they're interviewing you. I think a lot of candidates go in with the perception of, I just want to get the job, I just want to get the job. I'm just going to tell them every good thing about me and not really ask much back to them, because obviously they're a company, they must be great. I looked at their website, I looked at their social media, like this sounds like the perfect position for me. But in reality, just as you're putting your best foot forward, the company is also doing that to you. And you might come in on your first day and be like, this is not what I expected it to be at all. You know, this is so different from what they portrayed in my interview. And then you kind of think back and it's like, well, what did they really tell them? What did they really tell me about them? You know, you tell them a lot about you and how you work, but if you don't ask those same things back, you know, you could be hired on just because they need another person to work there, not necessarily because they really felt you were a good fit. You don't want to walk into the door the first day kind of blindsided as to, this isn't what I expected. You know, I thought I was going to be doing this. I had no idea the company was so big or the company was so small. And yes, you have to do a lot of research yourself before you go into this interview because you want to be prepared. But there can be a lot of, you know, blind shades being put up to what they actually want to tell you versus what's really going on in the company. So get to know them. And if you do walk in on the first day and you're kind of shocked with, why did you tell me this, but this is really what it is, don't feel like you have to stay there. It's okay to feel like something isn't a great fit for you. You know, try it out for a couple weeks, see how it goes. If you're still feeling that way, it's okay to leave. I know when you first get a job after college, you do want to put in, you know, a longer commitment, you know, 1 to 3 years there to show that you're really somebody who can stay with a company and grow within a company. But if it's not a good fit for you, those are going to be a really long 1 to 3 years. So if it's not, go ahead, try to find something else. They're going to understand. In the end, business is business. My third tip for today is to take this year after college to really figure out who you are and who you want to be. I know that sounds so cheesy and terrible, but for me, it's kind of been an eye-opening experience. When I went into college, I thought I knew who I was, and I think I did at the time. But when you come out, you really do realize how different things are from when you're in school to when you're in real life. And I think that there was a lot of things that I was holding on to about my personality that I just had thought, you know, for 22 years, this is who I am, this is who I am. And when I came out of college, I realized I don't think that's who I am, and that's okay if I want to change at this point in my life. You know, you're still young, and I think you can change at any point in your life. but now is still really a time to explore and figure out who you are. I know a lot of people do that in college, but I think you do it in college in different ways. You do it really socially, and I think now is a time to explore what you want to do with your life in a career way or even in a personal way. You know, a couple weeks ago I watched this video from Monica Church, and if you guys haven't ever heard of her, I would definitely go check her out. And on her channel she did a video of her 22nd birthday, and she went through all these things she learned in her year of being 21 and how she changed in that year. And one thing she said, which it might not make any sense to you, but if it does, it's really going to resonate with you on some weird level. But what she said was she had always thought that she liked dark kitchen cabinets. Yeah, kind of a weird fact about herself. She thought she liked dark kitchen cabinets, and over her year being 21 she realized, I don't really actually like dark kitchen cabinets. And for me, that really resonated, both because that was literally true. I did realize that I didn't like dark kitchen cabinets this year, but also I think it's kind of saying all these little weird things about yourself that you just considered to be true your whole life. It might hit you one day that that's not true anymore, and as little as and insignificant as it can be, it can also relate to things on a much larger scale. Something like that for me was that I always thought I wanted to move back to my hometown. I love my hometown. I love where I come from. I love the people that are still there. A lot of my family's still there. And for the past 4 years, I thought, I want to move back. I want to move back as soon as we can. Let's move back. And over this past year, each and every time I visited, I just kept feeling this feeling of, I kind of don't really want to be here right now. And it wasn't that I didn't want to be there in the moment, it was just me telling myself, I don't think that I want to come back here, at least not in the near future. And I kind of struggled with that for a while, of why my feelings were changing, but you know, sometimes they do. Sometimes you want to branch out and you don't want to go back to where you've been, or you don't want to be who you've been in the past. And I think that your year after graduating is really a good time to sit down and figure that out, or maybe to go out and figure that out. So those are 3 big things I think I've really learned over the past year. And I know with May coming up when a lot of people are graduating, I just want to let you know that, you know, you're gonna get through it. You're going to find a job, even if it's a job that you don't really like, but you're gonna find something and it's all gonna work out. But don't stress about it. Have fun. You'll figure it out. And I think, what do I think? And my 3rd tip for today is to really try to figure out who you are. I know, right? That's a great tip.